Hello, Kate. Hi, Hyacinth. I still can't work out how to take this background off.
Hello there. Oh, yeah.
Hello. I was playing on it a while ago and I put this silly background on. And I literally have absolutely no idea how to get it off again. But there we go. You got me with some kind of morphing background. How's everybody been?
Ill.
I haven't been too well, but yeah, it's just life as it happens, doesn't it?
Well, if you've had what we've had, it is absolutely horrible. It's early for flu season, isn't it? But it's like a bug come flu thing. We've been over 10 days now, and we feel like we've come out the other end of it, but we've got no energy whatsoever. And we've still got soggy lungs. So one day you wake up and your lungs are okay, and the next day they're all soggy and wet again. Is that what you guys have got?
No.
Oh no.
Oh, thank God. It doesn't sound very good.
Oh, it's I tell you, I think for us it's probably because we've not had a lot of bugs and things, with lockdown and all of the other stuff. We just our immune systems are probably just a lot weaker. So when we are getting something, it's just hammering us.
Oh dear. Well, my cholesterol went up.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I was getting really, really bad headaches to the point where really my face was hurting, my eyes. It was just really awful. And
Yeah.
then my pressure went up as well. So
Have they sorted that now?
yeah, everything's come down. Well, the cholesterol, I've got to work on it. My weight needs to go down a bit as well.
When don't they say that? I mean, come on. If you catch a cold, it's because you were overweight.
Oh no, they said I'm like 2 stone overweight.
Oh, I'd be thrilled with just 2 stone.
That's what they've told me. So,
I need to lose like
God.
half of my body. This,
So, but I feel a lot better anyway. I do now. I feel like I'm coming back to
see my
some kind
face
of,
now.
because I think when you're getting regular headaches like every day, it's not nice.
No, it's not. Well, hopefully they'll sort you out. How about you, Sandra?
No, I started with diarrhea and sickness a few weeks
Oh,
ago. And then I went up to Scotland and just got eaten alive.
By the
And
Maldives.
I wasn't sure whether it was actually the midges or whether I had chicken pox or something like that. I was just covered head to foot.
oh no.
So anyway, I'm kind of all right now, but I've
No,
just
no,
had
you don't. You
no
don't sound
inclination
all
to do
right.
anything.
You don't sound all right at all. You still sound poorly.
Yeah, well, that's just the whole throat thing. So.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
On top, well, do you know what? It's gonna be an autumn of bugs, I think.
Oh dear.
Oh. Let's see. So, has anyone got any news? Has anyone had any successes? Does anyone have some special news to share?
Well, I've got my Shopify store, which I'm going to launch. A friend of mine's helped me. He's good with IT because I just haven't been very, you know what I'm like.
Yeah.
And he's going to be, so I'm going to launch my Shopify store. I'm going to promote that on Instagram and Facebook within the next couple of days.
Good.
And then I'm preparing to go, I think I told you the last time, to do the stall. So
Yeah.
I've got quite a bit of stock now, which I've taken my time to do. So I'm going to be, getting out
So
there.
you're ready. That's
Yeah,
brilliant because you've done all
yeah,
sorts of bits and pieces now.
all sorts of bits and pieces there. And somebody asked me today about, I don't know if any of you ladies do it. Is it spiced pumpkin?
Yeah,
Have you
it's
heard of that one? So is
it's a
that
really
like,
popular one for going into the autumn. The kind of pumpkiny scents do seem to be very popular.
so does it goes well with the wax that we use,
Mm,
the soy
yeah.
wax? Does it go well with it, do you think? We've still
Yeah,
got
it
to
should
test it
it,
though.
it, it should do. There's quite a lot of different ones out there, so I'd look at the reviews and kind of see which ones people say are heavenly. Another scent that works well for both the autumn and going into winter is gingerbread.
Oh,
And that works
nice.
well in your melts and candles as well. So, but again, always read the reviews to make sure it's one that gives you a nice hot throw.
And then test it as well and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because somebody was asking me, and I was thinking to myself, do I need to change any of my fragrances to do that? Because you don't really have to, do you? You can actually just give them the look of the pumpkin, or maybe
you
design.
can. So if you've got a fragrance that you know people already like, that you think
Yeah.
will work well,
Yeah.
then you can use that and just do it in a pumpkin shape. You don't have to go to the expense all of the time of a new
Yeah.
fragrance. And I think this is where a lot of people,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
yeah, they rush out to buy new ingredients or
Just
new
because somebody's
molds
asked
or
for
new
it.
this, that, and the
Yeah.
other. But we tried not to. So even with well, the candles and melts, but also even the soaps and things, we take something that people often just read the name of a fragrance when they buy it from a company. They just think, oh, that's the name of it, so that's the name I've got to use. They don't even change the name. But I think you stand out more when you do change the name a little bit, and you make it fit your brand a little bit better than just being completely generic. And as long as the name isn't a trademark name, you can absolutely do that. So if you've got a fragrance that you know people really, really like, and you think it's going to work better as a seasonal product, then literally just take that same product, maybe give it a new twist, and then sell it out as a whole different product. So as an example, at Christmas time, we've got or we used to do what the heck was it called? Rose Amber and Gold, or Golden Rose Amber, something like that anyway. It was really lovely, strong fragrance. And it worked really, really well. But at Christmas time, that would become the poinsettia collection.
Oh.
So it still had the floral note. Now, I've never smelled a poinsettia. To me, it doesn't smell of anything. But if you tell people that that scent is poinsettia, they smell it and they go, oh, it's just like it. So,
yes, I was thinking that I didn't want to really go and buy, the pumpkin, the spice, whatever they want.
But you can.
But to really just use what I've got at the moment, and then when I'm ready, then I can look at different fragrances
for another year, maybe.
Yeah,
and look at what people are asking you. So when you start doing the events, every single time that someone mentions something, oh, do you do? Or, oh, I was hoping you did, or whatever it is, always make sure you write it down there and then, because you'll forget. And there can be some real gems that come through on every single event that you do. And then you can actually see what people are asking for. Are they asking you for reed diffusers? Are they asking you for room sprays or pillow sprays? Are they asking you for a different fragrance? Are they asking you for a different size? Whatever it is, write it down.
Yeah.
I 100% promise you that you will forget. And then you can go back through all of the different feedbacks that you've got, and you'll start to see patterns. And it will guide you then as to what you can go into do next for a future range. Yeah. But I honestly, if you can save money, save money.
Yeah.
Especially when you're first starting out, there's enough of things, finding stall fees in advance and all of the other things are more important than having every single fragrance there. Only you will know that you've run out of your favorite fragrances, and this is a big thing as you go into your main selling season. There will be certain products that you sell in certain fragrances that some of your top sellers, and they will run out of stock on certain events, and then you'll be conscious that you haven't got the favorites that people love. But if you focus on that, you're almost stopping them from buying all of the other lovely things that are there. Only you know that those products are out of stock. They haven't got a clue. They're just looking at all of the lovely things you do have. So you literally need to wipe it out of your head entirely and just focus on whatever is going to be the next thing that you really, really love and are going to promote to people. And just completely don't be apologizing, because you'll see this a lot. People will actually stand there and they'll say, oh, I'm really so sorry, you know, we've run out of the Christmas rose, but I've got this other one. Well, now they're focused on the one that they have that they can't buy, because that's obviously really popular. So you need to literally eradicate that out of your head and stop apologizing, forget it completely, and just look at all of the lovely things that you have got, pick up one or two of those, which are going to be ones that you promote through that whole day. And then you can worry about restocking it another day.
Yeah, of course, because it will happen, won't it, really?
Has anyone done that? Has anyone been in a situation where you know it's one of your best sellers and you've run out and you start apologizing? I know I've done it before.
Yeah, I used to. I don't now. Now I'll just look at the stock and go, this is what I'm selling today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I actually do feel that sometimes it's our own love of a particular product that makes it sell better. I'm absolutely sure of it, because you're putting that positivity and the energy into talking about that product. So if you talk about one thing all of the time and you're telling people that it's your bestseller or whatever, they're going to be more likely to buy that. So it actually almost artificially increases your sales of that product.
I think that's true, to be fair.
Yeah. Which is not a bad thing, but when things go wrong and you run out of that, you don't want to be focused on that. You've got to have a backup plan.
Yeah, exactly. Can I ask you, can I just ask, are we going to be covering email marketing at all? Or
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that would be a good topic actually for next month, and do like a whole email plan, put everything together.
Okay.
But when it comes to email marketing, are you wanting email marketing for existing buyers? So business to customer?
Yeah,
Or is this for wholesale? Because wholesale is completely different.
I think it would be nice to touch on the wholesale as well, maybe.
Do you actually wholesale right now? Because unless you've got a complete suite in place and you know what you're doing with wholesale,
I haven't got
a whole load of emails is going to be completely pointless.
No, I'm not doing wholesale at the moment.
Okay, so concentrating right now on business to consumer as you go into the busy season will probably do you far better, because you can get them onto your email list and start then being consistent with putting material out to them, making sure that they're getting value from you as well. And following up. So when people place an order through your website, because you mentioned, Hyacinth, that you're just starting with a Shopify account.
Yeah.
So actually having a suite of emails that you send out to people from the initial order all of the way through to follow-ups and then putting them back into a funnel would be really useful for you, I think, so that you've got, you know, a set kind of pattern that you put them into, so that they're going to get this series of 4 emails, and then you're going to leave it so long, and then you're going to put them in a new loop for the next new product or offer that's coming through. Yeah?
Yeah.
Does that sound like an idea for everyone? It's a good time of the year to make sure that you've got those systems in place. And then once you know how to do those, you can actually roll them out to any of your other scenarios. So, you know, as it goes past Christmas, you'll be able to put them out, say, for Halloween. So the first ones could be your Halloween products if you've got Halloween products. But then as they're buying for Christmas, you could be emailing them out. And then if you're doing a sale after Christmas, they're already in the system, and you could just change that out for it being, you know, a special sale. And then going into, you know, the new launch of your, you know, your early spring products. So they're already in the system. You're literally just changing a couple of things in the prompts and putting in the items that you actually want. So yeah, okay, we'll do that next month.
Okay, thank you.
I think I'm going to have to start putting some extra bits and pieces for you as well. I don't want to put loads of extra calls on because I know not everybody can attend the calls. So I think I'll put some extra bits and pieces as we kind of ramp up to the Christmas selling season. I'll put some more prompts and other bits and pieces into the group for you to try, based around that, that Christmassy sale season and themes, so that you've got more content on that, because it's such a big opportunity for you to be selling. It will be nice to kind of have a few different types of scenarios or options available to you, and then try out whichever one you feel kind of fits best for you. So is there anybody who hasn't got any events booked for Christmas?
No, I have.
You have? That's brilliant.
Yes, but you know what? I need a customer. I got 2 events in September. I have 3 events in October. I have 2 events in November. However, I've come to conclusions. I went to 2 events. The first event was a big flop. Second event was better because I had more traction.
Yeah.
But there was no buyers. And the buyers that were there, they were buying quite small, like little paper, cards or little knickknacks. With a lady in front of me, she had a beautiful display of like all these different goods and everything like this. Now, this was the second event and it was all handmade goods, everything. But people were buying like a birthday card that was like handmade and everything like that, which was great. But they were only coming in. But when they came to my thing, they said, "Oh, well, you'll be here next week." And I said, "No, I won't." So when I got that, I realized, oh, maybe instead of doing all these different markets, I'll make more of an effort to go back to the same original one. Yeah, so if they've come across me before,
yeah.
So I've rebooked in for September because I only wanted to do 1 a month to see how it goes. So now I'm doing 2.
Yeah.
And the one I'm at going next week is the same as the first one. So I'm hoping that the other people that saw will now stop.
Yeah. Well, there's quite a lot of good things that you just mentioned there. And I think it's something that a lot of people don't think about. So I think it's something that we should quickly talk through. So when you go out to, a new event, or you're just starting selling at events, it's quite common that people try and do loads and loads and loads of different events rather than going back and doing the same event every month. And there's pros and cons for this, because some events are just a complete flop. They're never going to work because the organizers are not promoting and marketing the actual event properly. And it's really, really important to make sure that you check all of that before you even think about booking them. I don't know if any of you have checked out those videos that I mentioned that I put together.
Yeah,
I
I did.
But they really, really will help you to decide which are the better events. If you can't go to an event because you haven't got any booked, go and visit the events, because then you'll know how busy they are. You'll know exactly which way they walk around the halls, or if it's multiple halls, do they even go into the second areas, or is it one which is deadly where the cafe is the first thing that they see, and they walk in, they sit down with a cup of coffee with all of their friends and have a slice of cake, and off they toddle home again. They don't even go around the damn place.
Yeah.
So those are, to me, that is the absolute kiss of death. If I see a cafe as one of the first things that they see, I won't even book that type of event because it's never going to make any money. And also, how many times has that event been run before? If it's a brand new event, no one's going to know about it. You'd have to have a really, really significantly brilliant marketer to get a lot of people in for a first event. In normally year on year, it normally increases if they're doing the job properly, and people start remembering that it's a good event and they look forward to going back. And they're also using word of mouth and letting other people know that it was a great event. So you're missing out on all of that going to a brand new event. Now, I'm not saying that you won't sometimes get some that are good, but a lot of the new events tank. It takes a while for them to become established. Even a good event on a bad weather day can tank.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're at an event where all of the parking has been taken up by stall holders, now there's nowhere for actual people to pull up and come in. So they're like, well, I can't park, so I'm just going to go home. So I know you want to be as close to the door as possible, but if everybody there parks there, you're going to have no customers. So you almost need to unload and then move your vehicles to another street nearby. And these are all things that you have to kind of factor in. It's amazing. I've seen it over and over again where the entire main parking near to the building is just stall holders. Now, if that's a cold, wintry day or it's raining, no one is going to want to walk from down the street. They want to be able to park right there. So do have a look at those videos. There's tons and tons of information in there that help you pick the right kind of event. And also what kind of questions to ask at events, you know, when you're thinking about booking them. Because if they tell you that the event has doubled in size, that could be good or bad. So this is a classic, especially when you go to really big events like the NEC. They'll say to you, oh, it's 50% up or it's 80% up on last year's figures. And you're like, oh, brilliant. You think that's great. Well, that could be extra customers, but actually what that often means is that that's 80% more stall holders. Exactly the same amount of people coming in, but nearly double the amount of competition in the event. So when they're speaking, really think through on the words that these people are using, because they're marketing their business to you. They're marketing their event to you because they want your money. But you need to make sure that it's the right event, the right fit for your brand. So if they've suddenly doubled the event, that doesn't at all mean you're going to take a penny more. Some of the best events are really small. You know, small local churches, some of the private schools or Catholic schools do really, really well. You know, it can be crazy sometimes how something that costs you like 10, 20 quid for a stall can take way more sometimes than something that's cost you an absolute fortune. I think one of the biggest things I've seen over the years is that people think if they do some big stately home, because it's posh, that it's going to do really, really well for them. But it often doesn't work like that at all. And some of those events you really don't take the money because the stall rent is so high on those that unless you've got quite a high amount of money for every sale that you take, you'll be lucky to cover your stall rent, but you won't necessarily make a profit.
That's what, but that's the ones I'm going for. It's like the stalls that cost like £10, £20, because I can't afford right now to go dish out £200 and come back with nothing.
Exactly. And some of those will do really well for you, and other ones will do terribly because they've got, you know, no history to them. They're not marketed properly. There's loads of other events on in the area on the same days that are known better or have better facilities or better parking. And some of them are just never, ever going to work. But think about this. So when you go to the supermarket, there might be some brand new product in and you see it sitting there on the shelf and you kind of look at it, but you don't buy it. And you don't buy it because you've got absolutely no trust in the product right now. It's just a new product on the shelf. So you're kind of a bit suspicious. You look at it, you've clocked eyes on it, but that's as far as you take it. And then each time you go shopping, you see it more and more. Now, if you then saw a TV advert for it, you'd be, oh yeah, I've seen that. So now you're taking it to the next level. You've warmed up, you've seen it a few times, and now you're hearing about it on the TV, or it might be a friend that's bought it and said, oh yeah, that was really, really good, or whatever, but you're taking it to the next level. Now, the next time you go, it's exactly the same product, but it might now be on the end of an aisle, or it might have some kind of big promotion on it. And now you're like, oh, I've seen this a few times and I've heard about this. I'm going to try it. But you didn't go in there on the first time of seeing it and buy it because it was something unknown. Now, it didn't mean that you didn't like the product. You just haven't built that know, like, and trust up. And this is what happens when people go to events. So you show up and they see you, they're looking at your products. They've never seen you before. They've never tried your products before. It's completely unknown to them. So they like what they see. And some people will buy. But a lot of people might not be ready for buying that particular week. They might already have some products and they're not quite ready yet. So they're looking, they're like, oh yeah, this looks really nice. I might buy some the next time I come.
That's what I'm hoping.
But what happens if you never go back there again? Because you didn't take much money. You're like, oh, I'm never doing that event again. But you haven't built any know, like, trust with your audience. Now, if you go back several times, now they've seen you over and over. They're starting to recognize you. They recognize the brand, and that trust is starting to be built even before they've tried your products. And if you're giving out samples and getting them to try things like your body creams or your body butters or hand creams or whatever, they're getting to actually try some of the products out. I don't know if any of you put soaps out in the toilets, whether you ask the organisers if you can put your soaps in the toilets. It's something that we used to do all of the time. We used to put bars out into the ladies' toilets and then just put a little card up with our details on there, and then they could actually try all of the soaps. Or you can give them a sampler and let them go to the bathroom and try it out. But the more touch points that you have with them, building that know, like, and trust, the more sales you will have. So if you only ever go to an event once and think, well, that was rubbish, I'm never going there again, you're really never gauging it on a warmed up audience. And if you don't turn up again, then you validated everything that they were worried about, in that you're not someone who's consistently there that they can buy from on a regular basis. And it's a really hard judgment call as to, was it the wrong time of the year? So we've just at the beginning of September, so end of August going into September, that is a really bad time of year for selling things, because that's when everybody is buying school uniform and shoes for the kids and, you know, winter coats for the kids and all of that kind of stuff is happening in that period of time. It's also that last week when everyone is thinking, God, I'm just desperate for a little break away before everyone goes back to work and back to school. So they're looking for last minute vacations. So the mind is not on buying something from you at the event, it's on buying necessities for the next year while the kids are at school or having a holiday. And the first week or first fortnight, actually, of the summer holidays is horrific, because that's the busiest time for holidays in the entire year. So you can bet your bottom dollar that over half of your entire audience has just gone on vacation. So they're not going to be there to buy anything at a craft event, because they're all off on the jollies. Now, there's always people going on holiday all through the year, but those key times you can guarantee that whatever event you go to, you're only going to get a small proportion of what you would normally have at that event. So writing all of this down in your notebook when you do an event can really, really help you understand what the audience might be like at another time of the year. So if you're selling something now, and you mentioned they're buying things like birthday cards, because that fits any time of the year.
Yeah.
So maybe they're not ready for buying their Christmas gifts yet. Christmas products start selling September on. So you'll always get some people who buy all through the year, who buy something every month and put it away. Some people are super organized and have it all mapped out. But the majority of people fly by the seat of their pants, and they some of them will start early. So they'll start in September thinking, right, I'm going to buy some gifts this month, and they'll buy each month leading up to Christmas and kind of parcel it out a bit. And this is quite a scary thought. But do you realize for most people, there are only 3 more paydays till Christmas?
Yeah.
So you will get people right now already buying for Christmas. But are you advertising your stuff as Christmas gifts? Does your product stand show itself as Christmas gift ideas, or is it just regular products and regular display? Because people literally need things spelling out for them. If you don't put things in front of them in a way or context that they can understand instantly, you can't expect them to think that through logically. They've got a million other things that they're thinking about. But if you put your display together in such a way that you've got clearly defined things for Halloween and clearly defined gift sets for Christmas, and you're talking about gift sets for Christmas, then that's now putting it into their mind. Oh, great, actually, this would be a great idea for such and such. But until you literally put that into their mind, they're not thinking about that at all. They're thinking, actually, I'm okay for soap right now, or I've got enough shampoo bars, or whatever it is. They're not specifically thinking in terms of gifting. So has anyone actually got any themed areas up? Have you got anything decked up and actually starting to showcase Christmas products so that people switch on to purchasing gifts for Christmas?
That's what I was looking at doing. I was looking at doing that for my store, because I think that's the time it needs to be done.
It really, really is. What about you, Adrian?
We've got a Christmas gift page on the website.
Brilliant.
Which we'll put live probably in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
It just needs tinkering with.
So it's not live yet?
No, it's because we used it last year.
Okay.
And then so I'll make it live again, but I need to tweak it a bit more because we got a few more products that we want to put on as well.
Well, you don't have to have it absolutely perfected before it goes live. So it would be quite nice. It gives you a double edge, actually. This is a better way of doing it. He already has products on there, so you can turn off the ones that you don't have stock of or that you're not going to carry forward. But anything that does fit for Christmas, leave up there and switch that page on, because that allows you to do some email marketing about it and actually do a little bit of social media posts, etc., about the fact that that is now available up on the website. Now, when he then adds those extra products or a new range possibly that he's now developed for this Christmas, he can then add all of that in, a week or two, even next month. He can do another entire marketing campaign then based specifically on the new products that have been added to it. So instead of
the other problem we've got is we're rebranding as well.
Brilliant.
We've changed our logo and our sort of brand colors, so I've got to bring it all in as well. So
do you, you've obviously got the shop, so you can sell off older stock in older packaging quite easily. But don't forget your online shoppers. So you could, if you've got some things in older packaging that you want to put on sale, don't forget to use your social media and your email marketing to allow them to have an opportunity to buy some of them at discounted prices too, even if it's just a couple of products. And then they're already engaged. So when you trigger the next one, if they've already engaged with you, the algorithm's going to see that they opened the emails, that they engaged with the post, and you'll get much more results from your new posts going forward.
Yeah, we've already last couple of weeks, people have started coming in now buying for Christmas.
Yeah,
buying Christmas presents in the shop, which is nice.
They will, and
it started.
You need to have yours up early, even if it's just one display that's a little bit more Christmassy than another section, because you've still got all of the kind of late holiday makers visiting the area, and they'll very much buy Christmas gifts for people from somewhere special like that. So it's even more important for you to actually have a display that's specifically themed, whether that's some gift sets or just putting it into their mind that Christmas is around the corner and these are going to make a perfect gift. So whether you're sticking up a couple of Christmas trees, either side, and just building out one section with a few products.
I'll get Maria to build a Santa's grotto.
They could all come and sit on your knee, tell you what they want for Christmas.
No.
But it's all of these things that we don't always think about. But right now, you've got a good tourist season right now. But they're not necessarily thinking Christmas until you put it into their mind. But there's no reason at all that you couldn't be selling them the Christmas gifts while they're there. 100%. Has anyone else got any questions this week?
Yes, I have a big one.
Go on then.
Okay, so I've been doing this for 3 years, as you know. Okay, and I got my candles. I have 5 of them. I'm now entering one of them as another male masculine candle. So my main line, which is my Hello, which is like a signature one, that's it. I offer no more. That's what I offer. That's my candle line. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've done that. I've got different flowers, everything like that. And I'm getting to, because we're getting a bonus this month, I have to make my mind up because I get my candles labels made. It is cheaper, but when you make a mistake, it's a huge cost.
Yeah.
Because you either have to make up your mind of, I'm going to redo the label, then the ones you've ordered are all gone. So the labels that you helped me make, okay, some of them, the lettering is too small. So when I put it on the website, you can't see it.
Yeah.
So the label stands out, but the actual wording stands out.
Okay.
So now my question is, because I thought if I got it where I got the labels made, it's actually cheaper. It is hypothetically cheaper because if you buy in bulk, you go through, but it's really costly if you go and you make a mistake, which I have. Okay. And one of them, I did a banner to do the stalls that would go behind me and it would say aroma rose, everything. But when I went and I did the banner, for some reason, I thought I entered 6 feet, okay, by whatever thing. But I like quadrupled it. So it looks like now you go into like a trucker shop or you'll go onto a highway and you would see Aroma Rose. It's huge. Okay. I can't use it. And because it's by smoke, I can't return it. But it cost me so much money. So now I'm thinking, do I take a step back and say, invest, because I got like an inkjet. No, yeah, an inkjet, like
Hmm.
just the cheap ones, you know, like the 39-pound
Yeah,
printer.
I think there's a difference between having labels printed and having great big stall banners printed.
Yeah,
So
but
when
I
you're
did
having banners printed, you really want to go with more of the standard sizes rather than going bespoke. And I wouldn't go bespoke on that.
It was, that was just an example, but what
Yeah.
I did the spring line, and I had this great idea that I would go onto Canva, I would do this beautiful background to show what the scent was, but I would have it on a clear thing. Well, when I got it printed, they came back, we worked it out, everything like that. When I got it, because it's on a clear and my lettering is so tiny, can't see it. You can't
Okay.
see.
But you
Okay.
can still use that. So is that a sticker?
Yeah, so now
Put
I
a
have to put
sticker.
a white sticker
Yeah,
behind it.
just literally just put something white or coloured behind it and they won't be ruined at all. You can still use all of them.
Yeah, it's just not as, it's because the lettering is tiny. So
So
when
did you not print any out and actually print them off at the right size and then check to see what they're like?
I don't have, like, that's the thing. The printer I had was out of ink, so I thought, oh, I'll just go ahead and
But
do
you
this.
could have got a friend to have printed it, or
Yeah, yeah.
you know,
Okay.
if you're going to go to the cost of printing something up with a company, either make sure that you get
What?
one printed off so that you can look at it, which can cost money, although sometimes they'll send you a digital copy for you to look at. If you're in Canva, you can make it so it's 100%, so you know exactly how big it's going to be, and then you can look and see whether you can read it at 100%, because that will be
Okay.
the size it's going to be. So if you can't read it at that size, you're not going to be able to read it when it's printed. But there are quite a few companies out there where when you have them digitally printed, you can have 10 different labels printed or 20 different labels printed all at the same time. And you get a discount because you're buying, say, 2,000 labels in total, but you might only have 100 of each one printed.
Okay.
So you could have a look at that as an option. So you don't necessarily need 1,000 of one label. What you're looking for is small print runs where you can have lots and lots of labels printed, and then you can just go back periodically and have the ones that you're running out of printed up for you.
Okay.
So you can
Yeah.
upload all of the different files up there and just tell them how many of each one, and they'll do it. I'm trying to think of a company. I'm sure other people will happily tell you who they use as well. But there's
I
discount.
use Avery.
Who, sorry?
I use Avery.
Avery.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's also, I think it's called discount sticker printing. Let me just look at it.
That's the one I use.
Oh, there you go then. Discount sticker printing. And they allow you to have umpteen different ones all kind of printed. They're a really good
most of
company.
them. I think most of them do that, Sarah.
It will if you. Most of them do if you ask.
Yeah, because they'll usually ask you, won't they? They'll say, "How much do you need?" You can just say, "Well, can we just start with 100, please?" And they say that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. If the label is the same size and the same style of label on every single one, and it's just a different print that's going on to it, it makes no difference to them at all. They just need to put it into the file originally to do however many of each one. They're not having to change the rolls or change the sheets, which is what takes the time. It's the machine setup which takes their time. So if they can just print a whole load of different ones off for you, it's really affordable. And I would just look up online for cheap. Now, here's the thing. You'll probably be looking for labels when you look online. But most print companies do not call them labels. They call them stickers.
Stickers. I noticed that. You told me that the last time.
Yeah.
So I was like, but would it be Is it cheaper that way to go through a company than it
Mm.
is to do it on your own?
The print quality will be tons better, like
Okay.
tons better. Most of the ones that you have printed will normally have a top coat done over the top of the ink, and you won't see it, but they actually put a top coat on top, and that stops most of the finger marking. So when people are touching your products, the oil off of their fingerprints isn't staining your
Ah,
labels, and it stops
okay.
the ink from smudging as well. So it basically sandwiches the actual ink with a clear layer. And that makes your product stand up so much better. If you're ever going to do wholesale, you really do need that, because otherwise
Right.
all your products are going to start looking really tatty in no time at all when people are picking them up and putting them down all day long. Your products just end up with finger marks and dust and dirty smudges and things all over the place. So when you do have them properly printed, it's always generally a higher quality. The type of inks that they're using, the concentration of the inks that they're using, and the finishes that they put on them are all higher than you would normally have at home.
Okay.
They're
Okay.
normally also actually cheaper to print than it is for you to buy the labels. I don't know about you, but I found that label prices have really, really gone up to buy blank labels. I was shocked. I was like, how much?
Because
So
I heard that because I thought, oh, I've made mistakes and everything like that. But now that you say about the printing, it would make sense. Because even with my little cheap printer, if I got the ink to do it, I could see what it looks like physically.
Yeah.
And do it in front of me.
Yeah. There's always the debate, do you go for inkjet or do you go for laser? And both will work really, really well. Inkjet, the cartridges tend to not hold that much. But there are refillable options out there now, so you can just keep refilling some of them. And you get a denser coverage normally when you're using the inkjets, but you have to change your settings to make sure that you're getting really good coverage, because most of your printers, when you get them, they're set to some type of economy mode, which might be fine for some of your labels. But if you're wanting things to be really bright and vibrant with your patterns, and you're finding that they're not coming out like that, it's probably the settings that you've got it on not using enough ink.
Yeah.
So it's trying to do, a basic job and not use your ink up, but then it's not giving you the color and the finish that you want.
But no, I was thinking of more so what you just said as an example is that go to the library or friends, get it printed, and then
Get it
look.
printed.
Yeah, because I'm visual, so I need to see it in front of me. But if
Yeah.
I got it printed in front of me, I could have said, this is what, because when they came back with the ones that I asked for clear, they kept saying, you're losing a lot of pigment because of what you've asked us to do.
Mm.
And then eventually I just got frustrated, said, no, just print them. Well, I should not got frustrated because I printed them and it didn't work.
Yeah. So
But
yeah,
if I would have saw it like you suggested,
yeah. I would always 100% always get one printed out, whether you do it yourself at 100% or whether you get someone else to print it or get an actual version from a printer. And the reason why is when you're doing all of your labels or other printing for that matter, if you're going to do leaflets, for example, and put those in people's orders when you do your events, anything at all, always print it out and make sure you look at it several times and then get other people to go through it as well, because you've worked on it so much on the computer, you become blind to any of the errors.
Yeah.
You don't see them because you're sitting there in front of it. You've created it, so you're only seeing a version of what you've got in your head, and you're not actually reading and seeing what is in front of you. So you need to step back get it physically printed in front of you, and then look at it, not even on the same day. You need a complete break away from it, and then you do your edit on a separate day with a fresh set of eyes. And you don't glance over it and think, oh yeah, that's fine. You properly look at it. Is everything properly aligned? Is something clearly not centered? Everything else is centered and this one thing is way off. That happens all of the time, but you've seen it so many times, you just become blind to it. Is there a spelling error? Is the text too small? Do you have things outside the margins that are now not printing? I've seen people print labels off so many times where all of the contact details haven't even been printed on the labels because they were outside the margins. But they didn't twig because they're just looking at what's in front of them. They're not properly editing.
Because I find I get bug-eyed because you're so frustrated when you're doing, say, Canva and you're putting all this together. By the end, you're like, oh, do you know what? I just want it done. I just want it done. I want it out the door. And then that's what happened. So when I sent it off to Vistaprint, and then they came back and they delivered it, it's huge. Look at this banner.
But you might still be able to use it at some events.
Yeah, if when, but it's a costly mistake that I'll be able to use it one, and I get that, but it was because I was staring at the computer so much and doing it that at the end I was like, just get
There's
off.
other things that you can use actually apart from just banners. There's something called Fomex, and Fomex is like it's like a thickish plastic foam board. And printers use it for all sorts of different things in stores, etc. Most of the signs you see in shops will be done on Fomex. And you'll see it will talk about foam board or Fomex or something like that in most of the printing companies. And they can literally, we had them done for Illy for her candles last Christmas. And we just took the big logo for Wacky Wax and had it put onto the Fomex boards. And then she just literally put them at the back of the Christmas cabin type things that she was in. Now, it doesn't matter where she goes. It's big enough that she could put it on the back wall of a log cabin, or she could put it behind her if she was doing an open stall somewhere. And it's really nice and light, and it's as light as a feather. So you could stick it up. You don't need to pin it into things. You could just use blue tack or something like that quite easily. So there's lots, and that can even go on the back of the stand, actually stood upright on your stall itself. So have a look at stuff like that. It doesn't always have to be a great big banner. And does everybody now have social media? I don't even know what to call them. Something where when they're at your shop or when they're on your stall, they can literally just tap the QR code to join your social media.
I do.
Because your social media will go up so much quicker if you just have that there. If you're in a shop, put it right by your checkout and encourage everybody to follow you. And then they can literally just tap that and join while they've got you and your brand on the mind. Or it might be that they want to share it with a friend. If they're on vacation, they'll tap that and they'll share that out on social media to everybody else. But
where do you actually get that from, Sarah? Is it part of Facebook or somewhere like that?
No, Etsy do some amazing ones. Let me show you. I'm sure you can get them in other places too, but social.
I've just done a plain one, Sarah. So I've just done it and going to laminate it and put it on a like a stand, like a little plastic stand. Now, so
let me bring this up.
You can buy them, look lovely, some of them. I've seen a lot of them online.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you look at these, they look really, really professional. This one's £19.87. Look, it's got whatever, that's an American one.
Whatever site you on,
you can leave a review, so you can have a review one. This one is Instagram, Facebook, and also the website.
Mm.
But they're lovely. They look really,
Mm.
really nice. You could do these yourself. There are QR code generators online that you can get for free. And actually, there are even QR codes now, QR generators that will create a picture. If you really wanted to produce a picture, you could. But you just need something simple that people can literally just scan and have you right there. And there's loads and loads and loads of these. So whether you just want to promote on one channel or you want multiple channels, it really doesn't matter. But the difference in the numbers of people that you'll get actually signing up for you is huge. You've got to think, this is the busy season. This is when a huge amount of people are going to actually see you and your products. So you don't want to miss out on any opportunity to get them as a follower, get them on an email list. Every single opportunity that you can, you want to encourage them to come and learn a little bit more about you and your brand and your products. So whether you print it out and stick it into a picture frame from IKEA, or whether you go somewhere and get a really nice one done on Etsy, doesn't matter. Just get something up there that looks really, really nice, and make sure that you talk about it all the time. So if they're there before they walk off, if they've not bought anything, then get them signing up. Tell them, come and follow us. Come and have a look at some of the other products that we do. I'd love to have you, as part of our community.
Mm.
If they're buying something, or if they're repeat buyers, you know that they already like your products, but have they ever bothered actually signing up? Get them into that community.
Canva does the QR codes as well.
Yeah. There's loads and loads and loads of free QR generators out there. Just a quick Google search will bring them all up for you. How does the code link to you? So you, in the QR generators, you put your Instagram handle or your Facebook handle or your website or whatever, and then it generates a unique QR code with all of the information that links through to that page or website. So make sure that you have the right information for people to go to your Instagram. When I run a thing periodically on Soap School Ninjas, for example, and I allow people to share their Instagram feeds or their Facebook group or page, you would not believe how many people put the wrong thing up and haven't got a clue what their Instagram or Facebook is. But can you imagine walking into a well-known brand and them not knowing their address or their website or their phone number? It would just never happen. So you need to know it, have it written down, and make sure you put the right information into the codes. Otherwise, you can have all of those people trying to follow you and engage with you. And if the information is incorrect, they can't actually join.
There was a girl on not Facebook, on YouTube, which I thought was brilliant. I've got to figure out how she does it. She took a picture of her Instagram, like when you go on the bio on the back.
Yeah.
So it had her bio, it had her picture there, but in the middle of the Instagram grid, she had a QR code, but she used it as her business card.
Yeah. So that's really easy to do in Canva. It won't cost anything at all. So you need to take a screenshot of your Instagram feed.
Yeah.
So literally just take the screenshot and then import that make sure that you get the bio at the top and everything. Import it into Canva. And then you take over the center grid and generate a code in advance, your QR code, and just pop that into one of the squares.
I thought it was brilliant.
It does look really, really nice. And again, it allows people to kind of see the types of things you're posting about and what your feed looks like. It's more commonly used by people who have these very, very perfect Instagram feeds where everything is in just 3 colors and everything is so
coherence.
precise.
Yeah, because and you look at it and you could see, but
Mm.
I thought it was lovely because you got to read her bio right
Yeah.
there. So you would see that. And
Yeah.
then when you turned over, it was her logo.
Exactly. Now, what a lot of people don't do is in that first bio section, you should actually, it doesn't matter for something like a card like this, but in that bio section, you need to be using keywords for your business. And the keywords need to be, what would people be searching for? Where do they search? So are they searching for natural beauty? Are they searching for wellness? What kind of products would they generally be searching for your products? You're putting handmade soap maybe in there, or I know some of you are doing candles and other things, but whatever your thing is that you're putting in there, they're not necessarily searching for that. They might be searching for wellness products or self-care or self-love products. But are you actually using any of those keywords in your bios at all? Because if you're using keywords where your general shopper is hanging out and where they're searching, Instagram and Facebook can then see from the keywords in your bio where to put you and who to put you in front of. But if all you put is handmade soap, it can only put you in front of the people who are actively searching for handmade soap.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm.
Yeah. So think a little bit broader. So the people searching for handmade soap are looking to take care of their bodies. They're taking care of their families. They're looking for locally sourced products. They're looking for natural beauty products. So try using some of those words in your bio and not just all of the things about soap. And it's the same.
Sorry, I've got to go.
Okay, that's fine.
Sorry, apologise, but
No, that's
I can watch the rest. Are you going to be on for another half an hour? Are you?
No, we're just wrapping up now.
Okay, thank you. See you guys.
Oh, you're welcome.
All the
Bye.
best with
Bye.
everything that you're working for.
You too.
Bye.
Take care.
So the other thing that kind of ties in with that is, although Instagram allows you to use 30 tags, if you're using all 30 tags, you're actually diluting your message. So what you really want to do is to think about which ones are going to make the most sense for your brand, and try just using 6 of them really, really purposefully, but don't use the same 6 in every single post. So there may be a couple that you use in every post, and then change a couple of them out each time so that they're kind of sprinkled. So you can still use all 30, but don't use them all in one post. Try looking for what we call long tail keywords. So if you just put in handmade soap, you're going to be in competition with a million other people for handmade soap. But if you put in shea butter soap, then that might be a much smaller pool of people looking for shea butter soap. So you've not got as much competition. So you'll be found far better, far more easily by people than trying to go for one of the top keywords where there's millions of people going for that same word. So start adding words on. And that could also include local areas to you. So it could be Yorkshire, or it could be Huddersfield, or whatever, but try and think about the location that people are in as well, because they'll often put near me. So you can actually use that as part of your text or a tag as well. So when you're looking at tags, if you're doing research on tags, don't just look at the soap or the handmade soap or the cold process soap, but look further than that for things which are slightly longer, which will give you more targeted reach. And just play around with your tags a little bit more rather than bombarding it with 30. If you can put 6 really targeted tags in there, then Instagram is going to look at that and it knows exactly where to position that particular post, who to put it out in front of and try it in front of new people. But if you put 30 really generic things out there, it hasn't got a clue. So it's just blindly kind of sprinkling things here, there, and everywhere. So try and just be
Okay.
that little bit more targeted.
Okay.
All right. All right. So next month, then, we will do emails. We'll do full email sequences, and I'll put some printed guides together for you for those. I've got a whole load of bits and pieces that I'll actually write up, because I've already got some prompts and other bits and pieces for you that you might want to play around with for like the harvest and autumn season. So I'll sprinkle those into the group for you as well. And if you want to have a play around with some of those, you can absolutely do that. Any final questions before I head off? No? All right. Well, I hope that everybody has blue skies and good health.
You too. You too.
Go and have a wonderful time.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.